Oh my goodness, creative writing. Honestly, I feel like I've seen every strange example and direction that any child could take their writing in. And some of them are just, they leave me speechless. What can I say? Hi, my name's Joycelyn Akufo. I'm the Managing Director of Geek School Tutoring. If you are new to this channel, a very, very big welcome to you. And Geek School is an 11 plus specialist. We are based in Beckenham and in Catford and online. So wherever you are in the world, we can help you. We even have students in China, in Dubai, in Spain, all over the country. So wherever you are, if you're looking for somebody who knows what they're doing, head over to geekschool.co.uk and we will sort you out, or your child out. Anyway, so I just want to talk about some things that do not help your child's progress with creative writing, some things to avoid. I have to say that really the very big bane of my life is the memorizing of similes, metaphors and phrases. Please stop doing that. Stop. Okay, so first of all, I would like to put a disclaimer out there. And the disclaimer that I'm putting in this video is that I have no issue at all with any of the publications that I mention. In fact, I think generally the purpose of those publications is to help the children. But the issue is the way in which they are being used, and that is the real bugbear. So number one on that list is Descriptosaurus. So Descriptosaurus is, I'm even hesitant to even share it on the video, because I feel that some of you will quickly go onto Amazon or any local, any book website and just go and buy one. That's not a bad thing. It's the way it's used that isn't always the best way. But anyway, so Descriptosaurus is a book that helps children to come up with different phrases for different types of stories, different emotions in stories, and so on. It helps children to expand their description of their emotions in a story and so on. And I think the authors have done a tremendous job. So before we carry on with this amazing video, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so that you will get notified every time a new Geek School video goes up. Enjoy! However, the issue is it's supposed to help children. A lot of children are instead either memorizing these phrases, or the parents are getting them to memorize them, or I think some very rogue tutors are getting children to memorize these phrases. And that defeats the whole purpose of creative writing. Creative writing. Creative, the root word there is create, to make something, make something up. When children write, they are supposed to write from their being, from their person, not from pages and pages of examples that they have memorized. Now, there are two main issues with this memorizing of phrases from Descriptosaurus. The first issue is that a lot of children tend to regurgitate these phrases in parts of their sentencing, paragraphs, and it's so out of context that it just doesn't make sense. And that's the first red flag when you're marking the work. They'll just put a random phrase in there and you just think, that phrase is really good, it's very mature, but because it's so mature, it's so strange that you would put it here because it doesn't fit. Oh my goodness. And that's a red flag. I mean, if I find it to be a red flag, I am more than 110% certain that independent schools, grammar schools, and all their markers see it as a red flag as well. You know, it's just so odd that anyone would get a child to memorize similes, metaphors, noun phrases, adjectival phrases. Why would you do that? It's supposed to help trigger their creative ability so they can come up with their own examples. Oh my goodness, I have to laugh because I'm not going to show any examples, and the reason why I'm not going to do that is because the aim of the Geek School YouTube channel is to encourage. I don't like the idea of damming down any child's efforts because largely, this memorizing of phrases, usually it doesn't come from them. Somebody has told them to do that. And if it's you, stop, please, just stop. Okay, so that's the other one. At Geek School, I do not encourage children to memorize similes and metaphors. The reason why I don't do that is for the very same reason, because sometimes they use them out of context and, they will just keep repeating the same simile, the same metaphor over and over and over. And I just think it's so risky because in the exam, under all that pressure, and unfortunately a lot of children don't like reading their own stories, so even the reading through their work is quite a tall request, and so they often miss these errors anyway. So I don't encourage that. I encourage them to come up with their own similes and metaphors. It's not that difficult. The more practice they get of doing that, the better it is for them, honestly. If you're a parent who's watching this and you have encouraged your son or your daughter to memorize these phrases and so on, do something about it before it lands on an exam paper and becomes a red flag. Now, the reason why it's a red flag is because it's not a lot of children who memorize similes and metaphors, they tend to overuse them. Now, in this video, at this point in the video, before editing, the timestamp on there is just going over 8.5 minutes. I don't think I've mentioned a single simile, metaphor, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification, or any other figurative language technique. I haven't, because generally when we speak the English language, we don't speak in metaphors and similes unless we're Shakespeare or something. It's just not the normal way. Adults don't really speak like that, and children aged 10 and 11, you think that they naturally write with a simile or metaphor every paragraph, every other sentence? No. And so if children add those devices to their writing, it makes it very obvious that they've been badly tutored. Not tutored, but badly tutored. Badly tutored. No tutor should be encouraging any child to stuff their writing with just multitudes of similes and metaphors. If you have a tutor that's doing that, have a word or have a rethink, because it's not the natural way. Yes, they should demonstrate an understanding for figurative language, use it in an organic and natural sense in the writing, but to overuse it, that is a one-way ticket to failing or being significantly marked down, because it becomes very, very, very obvious. Okay. Now that I've got that off my chest, I feel the release. Okay, so here's another thing. Speech. When children write for the 11 plus exam, showing that they know how to write dialogue is good, but when there is a whole page of he said, then she said, and then he replied, and then she said, that is called a play. You know, a play that we learn to perform. That is not creative writing. So that is another area that needs to be addressed. So really, one line of dialogue or two at the most is plenty. You know, after all, they just want to see that the child knows how to use dialogue, more importantly, how to punctuate it. And then the rest should be focused on showing the reader what's going on in the story, not telling. Now, honestly, the speech, no, we don't want lines and lines and lines of speech, because that is not descriptive at all. You know, turning that creative piece of writing into a play takes away from the need for oh, I'm trying to be so careful with my words because I don't want to offend anyone. Basically, it's a lazy way of writing. I've said it. No offense to anyone, but because children often struggle to describe what's happening, some of them take a shortcut by writing, you know, the he said, she said, and then replied, and so on, blah, 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 blah. No, we need to be able to understand and picture what's happening in the writing piece, and writing lots and lots of dialogue is not the way to do it. Okay, if you're a child who's watching this, don't do it. Describe, show what's happening in the story. I think I said enough. I don't want to offend anyone. So for this video, I believe I've covered plenty. So books like Descriptosaurus, use them to help come up with your own ideas. Do not memorize them. And I've also spoken about the overuse of similes and metaphors, not to, and the unnecessarily long play scripts and not doing them. So I hope that's been helpful, geekers. I really hope that's been helpful. And I think I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.